G'day shoppers, Andrew Thaler here, that bloke from down on the Monero. Quickly want to show you a truck, my truck. It's a Scania, it's a 500 horsepower, it's 19 metres long, and I can load it up to a total weight of 50 tonnes. We get a lot of data off our trucks, and I've just finished driving, so I'll turn the camera around just quickly and show you some of the data that we can get and why it's important. So we have these little computers inside, tell you what you're doing. There's the individual axle weights and the weight of the load on the truck. It also tells me my trip, 938 kilometres, 2.18 kilometres per litre. That's a litre, just under a litre per kilometre. A litre of diesel is $1.70. 430 litres. Yes, the idling amount is pretty high because it was 41 degrees in Sydney and I had to keep the truck running to try and keep the air conditioning running in between loading. So a lot of idling. Total 19 hours of driving, 6 hours of idling. So there you go. So I took this truck up to the protests and in Canberra, and then I popped up to Sydney, did my delivery. I was about 48.5 tonne. I then, I had to stay overnight in the truck, obviously, did the delivery the next morning about 7:30 in the morning. And then I had to do a load at midday and another load at 3, finished at 5. And in between there was a bit of waiting, so emails, phone calls, what have you. It's like a mobile office in here. So this truck has a bed here. There's a bed. You can actually fit 2 people on it. It's not too bad. It's a good size. There's a bunk here. This big thing is actually a fold-down bunk, so you can fit 2 people in here. That's the steering wheel. We have a fridge and a freezer down the bottom, so my lunches and whatever else I can put in there. So quickly, we will pop outside the truck. So this, I said, is a Scania, a 500 horsepower twin steer. 2 steering wheels at the front, a set of driving wheels down the back of the truck. It's a rigid, so it has a rigid tray with a load on it. As you can see, there's a load with pallets and other stuff. And down the back, you can see a trailer. So I've actually got what's called a super dog trailer with 3 axles. And it tips, which is bloody handy. And I don't know if you can see that. Nice little fold down seat. Scania, think of everything. You can get trucks with microwaves and all but the kitchen sink. So for the protest, I invested obviously a bit of money and my time in fuel and delaying jobs that I was otherwise going to do because I went to the protest, went to Sydney, come back, stayed at the protest. I am very concerned by what I saw. I saw a mess, and I saw the police beginning to interact with the protest. I saw no leadership, a complete absence of leadership, and of the people claiming to be leaders, absolute immaturity and inexperience. So Kangaroo and Jim, whatever his name is, claiming to be leaders. You know, they've got their GoFundMe and they've got their bank accounts running. They've got $100-something thousand being donated to them. That's all well and good. But if you're going to be the leaders and set up a protest movement and get everybody to camp in a centralised spot that then gets blockaded by the police, well, you clearly didn't think that through. If you were going to camp somewhere on public land, in a democracy where the government is charged with protecting public land, and they require you to get a permit, it doesn't sort of behoove you to rely on the Aboriginal Tent Embassy people to say, yep, we're going to allow you to camp on our sovereign land, and then in the next breath say, we're going to try and get a permit from the ACT Government Planning Authority. And if a minister or a member of Parliament from the ACT Government comes down to visit, don't pick on them, don't ostracise them. That was your first political engagement that the camp could have had, and people were disgusting to that politician. So I thank you for coming down, Mark Parton. Showed great maturity and great leadership. Phone call doesn't stop. So I'm calling on proper, mature, experienced leadership. We need to see a unity. We're seeing it in the camp with different political factions sort of coming, IMOP and LDP and all those sort of things. I want to see proper leadership. I don't want to waste my time, my truck, my efforts, my money for nothing. I believe in the message. I want freedom of choice. You can call me an anti-vaxxer if you want, but it's not true. I believe in freedom of choice. I will not stand by and let our government jab our kids and do a medical experiment on our kids. Let them go to school. Don't make them wear masks. Don't make the teachers wear masks. All around the world we know that masks are rubbish. So the core messages are no more mandates, no more lockdowns, no mandatory jab. Pretty basic demands. We shouldn't even be demanding them, but we are. Do not make our kids suffer. Leave our kids alone. Let them go to school. Let them be kids. It's pretty simple. The science is in. The kids do not need this jab. But it's a free country, and so if you want to give something to your kids, that's your choice. I will not stop you. But I want to see leadership in that camp, not people with their hand out begging for money, not people with subversive ideas and sort of crazy lefties that want to just break public property. I don't want to see leaders that have got all this money coming in, but yet can't even ring up Kennard's Hire and order some portaloos for the camp. So you want to protest public authority, but you need the public authority to keep the toilets open and the water flowing and don't turn the barbecues off. I'm sorry, but you haven't planned, and so therefore you've planned to fail. I don't want this protest to fail. I want to see an outcome for our effort, and I'm prepared to put more effort in. So I'm calling for, across the political spectrum, I want to see a combined, unified leadership come and help guide, calm it down, kick out the crazies, keep it polite, and bring the community on side so that the community is not in fear. We're not scary. We're ordinary mums and dads, nanas and pops, all coming together saying, please allow us free choice, whether you've got a car or a big truck. Remember, I went with my wife and my 5 kids and our dog, and they had an interesting day. It was an experience for them. We shouldn't have to be giving our kids that experience, but unfortunately, that is how it works these days. If you want something, you've got to ask for it, but you have to ask for it in such a way that it is a compelling reason to be given it. So we are saying, restore our freedoms, restore our representative democracy, stop shutting down Parliament, for example, allow us the freedom of choice, the freedom to move. No more border closures, no more lockdowns, no more mandatory masks, no more mandatory jabs. Let all the nurses and all the teachers and all the fireys and all the ambulance officers, everybody, get back to work. Let's get Australia moving again. So, as I said, I'm Andrew. I'm just a bloke from Nimidabel down on the Monero. But I've got a pair of eyes and a brain, and I can see, and I did not like what I saw. So if people want me to continue being involved, and there are a lot of people like me, let's clean up our act, let's work together, and a unity, a common purpose, without the subversive elements that are trying to take over. And that's what I'm calling for. Thank you.